So guys, about a year ago I picked up this M1 MacBook Air at Costco. It was right around the holidays. Got a great deal. I think it was like $800 or $850. And it's just the standard MacBook Air. It does have the M1, but it's got like the 256 storage. It's about as basic as you can get because that's the one they usually run during the holiday sales, and I didn't really need anything more than that. Now, at the same time, I still actually have it. I was using my 21-inch iMac. It was the older generations of the iMac, and I wanted to be a little bit more mobile, and I wanted to take advantage of what the Silicon, the M1 was the first Silicon chip that they had to offer, the faster speeds, and I can use my mobile apps to do my YouTube editing because you can do that with the Silicon Apple chips. So everything has been great. I like the keyboard. Love, love, love the build quality, the usability, the battery life, and all of that. But like maybe some of you, I've been kind of battling between two PCs. Well, I love this lightweight, portable, ultra fast laptop. I didn't like the small screen. I kept on going back to the 21 inch, and the 21 inch is by no means anything large as far as displays go, but it was much, much better. It had a 4K resolution. The resolution is great on the MacBook Air screen. But when I was doing video editing or mostly picture editing, because a lot of times I use my iPad for my video editing, but for pictures, yeah, I kept on gravitating back to my 21-inch iMac. So got me thinking maybe I should just break down and get a display. So the display that I fell in love with, like many of you have, was the Apple Studio display. Now, with the standard configuration and my setup, I would want the elevated stand. So this monitor goes from $16.99, and when you add the stand, it goes to $19.99. So $2,000 for a monitor, and great monitor. What does it have? 5K resolutions, 27-inch, and the speakers. I've seen many reviews. You guys probably have watched them yourself. It's a great monitor. It's just, my MacBook Air is like $800, and am I going to spend $2,000 on a monitor? So I didn't. That's one of the reasons why I held off for quite a while. Looked at many, many, many YouTube videos, like I'm sure if you're watching this, you have probably done the same. And I just really didn't find one that I liked and really fit my needs. And so I searched, and then was looking on Amazon, and I found this monitor. It's the LG, I'll tell you which one it is, guys. It's the LG Ultrafine HD 27-inch monitor, and I'll leave a link in the description. It's $402 right now, but you got to watch the Amazon deals. I bought it in October 15th. I've had it a while. I wanted to wait a little while to do this review, plus life has kind of thrown some curveballs my way. But I've had it for quite a few months, and I figured it was time to do a review. I paid $382. Put it in your cart. You can use some apps like Camel that you can put your item on there, and you can set price flags. I think I was just put it in my cart, and I checked on it once in a while. It went down to 380, 382, and I jumped on it. I did go with the 27-inch. Now, a lot of people that do the auxiliary displays, they go with the 32-inch, and I'm going to tell you why I went with the 27-inch. My wife has a 27-inch, and it's a big monitor for me, and this is kind of personal preference. I have a 23-inch at work. I had a 21-inch, or still do. Technically, I got to sell the iMac, and the 21 was too small, and the 27, when I used her computer, was borderline almost too big. So my fear was that the 32-inch, and when I say too big for my viewing distance, in my humble opinion, when you're having to shift your eyes and your head across the screen, that's too big for me. I want something that the text is a good size. I can zoom in on my pictures, or actually look at details of my pictures without having to zoom in. And the 27-inch is that on the cusp for me, just the right. Anything a little bit bigger would be too big for the viewing distance that I have. The other is the resolution. Now, the monitor that I truly wanted was that studio display for $2,000. It was 5K, and everything I've seen was just phenomenal as far as the quality, the resolution. And the other thing that Apple does is it does like the scaling. So the hardware is designed for a 5K output, and you can use 4K no problem, but the scaling can be a little funny. And I haven't used a 32-inch, so I can't really do a side-by-side comparison, but I have played around again with the 27-inch, and I've seen a bunch of reviews, and I figured that was probably the best fit for me. It was the perfect size to distance, and going to 4K to, your 4K, your resolution isn't changing. So if you go from a 27-inch to a 32-inch, the resolution is the same, but your perceived resolution will decrease just because you have the same amount of pixels, but they're now spread over across a larger real estate, a larger screen. So that's the reasons. Those are the reasons I went with the 27-inch. The price difference, I think it's not much. Let me see what it is right now. So it's $499 versus $402. So right now there is a substantial difference. When I bought mine, I think it was a $60 to $70 difference. It really wasn't a factor for me. It was nice that it was a little cheaper, the 27-inch, but that wasn't even a factor on making my decision. The other thing that I was looking for in monitors is one was 4K. The other, since I'm running an Apple MacBook Air, I wanted something that could charge and also provide some kind of a data cable. Now, this is a USB-C, and maybe I should turn this around, guys. Well, I will in a second, but this is a USB-C cable, so it will power my MacBook Air. It'll transfer the picture. It's a 60 hertz screen, so it's fast, it's responsive. But also, this monitor, it has a few other features that I really liked. The look. I'm going to move my MacBook out of the way so you can see it, because this video is really about the monitor. And I think it looks pretty cool. My one knock on this monitor is the white cables, just because it doesn't match the black accents that I have going on in my office. It does come with cables, and you'll see that there's a power cable. I still have to kind of tie these up. I still haven't done that yet. And there's the USB-C cable. They're both white. Now, my plan was to clip these back here, do a little bit of cable management so you don't see the white power cable. And I guess might be able to change that. I can't remember what style that power cable is. We'll see that in a minute. And then the other thing is the USB-C going to the computer. Again, that's a charging. I don't know if it's 60 watts, but it's a higher speed charging, and also data transfer. Now, what they will tell you when you open the box is that I think I have the box in the garage about to toss in the trash. But what they tell you is you can only use their cable. And that is true for the most part. Now, what I've found is I've tried multiple cables that I've had laying around. I don't have a plethora of them, but I had a handful. One cable actually worked. So if you guys are debating on buying this, and they don't make this one anymore. This, I think I bought two and a half years ago. This is an Amazon Basics, and I can tell you which one I got, Gavin. It is the Amazon Basics fast charging 60 watt USB 3.1 Gen 1 cable. This is USB. This is a 6-foot cable. This one does work. Again, guys, I'll leave a link, but you can't buy it here because it's not available anymore. So I don't know if this monitor requires a 3.1 Gen 1 or higher, or if it's just Gen 1, or if it's only certain specific cables that work. I don't know. I just know I've read a lot of comments, and people said that the only cable that works is the OEM LG cable. It does work. It works great, but I have found that this one works as good. And the cable, this one it's kind of thick. It's a little heavier than the LG cable, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't swapped it out. I still may, just for, again, going with the black theme on my desk. No other reason than that. The cable that comes with it, it's fine. It works great. It's a little bit more flexible than the one I have, and again, that's that's really the reason I probably haven't switched out yet. But I like the look of it, and the stand. If you can look at the stand, it's kind of modern stand, and you can adjust this. It's got like a tension, so you can go all the way down, and it's all the way in the up position. And now this is important because, again, from my viewing angle, I wanted it higher. And what this allows me to do, using the MacBook Air, without a stand or anything, I can use, they call it like a top down. There's a setting on your MacBook where you can go into dual screen, and I can have my screen below and above. I like this. I prefer this. I've tried it going side by side. I actually bought a stand to raise it to go on the left side, and I didn't like it for a couple different reasons. One is it was kind of awkward to have a smaller screen way up here, and it looked really stupid when the laptop wasn't on it. I just this basic stand, and it blocked my light over on the left hand side, and it just was odd to go back and forth. And the keyboard, I really love the keyboard on the MacBook Air, and I went back and forth. I actually bought a couple of the wireless Bluetooth keyboards, and that was kind of my plan, is to put this MacBook Air up on a stand fairly close to the same height as this LG monitor, and do a left to right dual screen. And I didn't like the keyboards as well. I figured this was more minimalist and it was easy. The keyboard transition from getting used to using a key type on my MacBook Air and transition into another. It was just, again, more of a minimalist, and I love how you can use it top down. And you can do this configuration if you have that tilt and height adjustment option for the studio display. But again, it's over $2,000. And if you add in tax on $400 versus tax on $2,000, that is real money. In Michigan, it's 6%. So you're looking at was that $120 in tax versus this would be like $400 would be, was it 4 times 6, 25, $25. So, and on Amazon, if you're an Amazon card member, I forget what they call it, Prime card, credit card member, which if you don't have, I advise you do, you get 5% cash back. So take another 5%, that covers the tax. Again, it's money, it all matters at the end of the day. So this is a big feature. It does have built-in speakers, but they're really kind of crappy. Now, the speakers are good enough to do sounds, like the click sounds and the dings, totally fine for that. But if you want to use it to play YouTube videos, not good enough at all. How I've adapted my personal configuration for that, you can use a couple different options. You can use the MacBook Air built-in speakers, which are much better than the LG speakers. You can use a cabled configuration. I chose to go with my Bose speaker. Now, I had this for a while. Actually, it broke, and I had to pay some money, and Bose replaced it. And it's Bluetooth. I configured Bluetooth to my MacBook Air, and it works fantastic. There's no latency. The battery lasts a long time, and I just plug it in, and there's no cables. Again, back to the minimalist thing. And it works really good. The sound is phenomenal, and I play music through it from my iPhone when I'm just here working. So it's a multitasker, and it's been working great. I'm gonna see if I can show you the sound difference. Let me try to play one of my YouTube videos. I don't know if it'll pick it up good on the audio, so let me just skip that. I don't think you're going to get much value from that because I'm using this microphone, which is a great microphone. It's not gonna do it justice as a sound comparison. But take my word, the speakers in here, they will work in a pinch, and if you're not using your monitor to do any video watching or listening to music, totally fine. But if you are watching YouTube videos or online streaming, playing music, you definitely want something else. And in my opinion, you probably want something else more than your MacBook Air speakers. You want to go with some Bluetooth or some cabled speaker system. There's a lot out there for reasonable price. You don't have to go with Bose. I have a friend of mine that purchased something for like 20 bucks, and it's been great for him. He doesn't have the same configuration. I'm just playing the music at a pool. It sounded awesome. Uh, so those were my needs, my wants when I was looking for a monitor. You know, price was big, but I want it to function like the studio display as far as how it hooked up and how it worked together. And the other thing that's nice about this monitor is now I'm going to switch it around. You guys can see that the scaling before I switch it around. The scaling's great. I you know what scaling is, my understanding, I'm no expert, is the text size versus the image size. So if you see up here, like you have your text on top. Now this doesn't grow at the same ratio. That's my understanding. You know, if you're looking at a studio display, these drop downs, these icons on the top would be more proportionate to the larger screens. And as you get bigger, that increases. Again, probably bad explanation, but that's my crude understanding how it works. 27-inch monitor, works for me. It's exactly what I would expect. And when I opened this and I seen scaling, I'm like, what are they talking about scaling? No perceived scaling issues to me at all. It's fast. It's, you know, the size proportion is great. The image quality, fantastic. I've done picture editing and it works fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to show you how I set this up. Actually, I'll use the video and switch from my iPhone. Okay, so the nice thing about this monitor is it's got some USB options on the back. They're USB A's, and how I have it configured is two ways. Again, I want my cable management to be neat and minimalist. So on one side, I forget which one is which, but on one side I have an external hard drive that I have backup for my pictures. And if you guys don't use the Apple backup, it's fantastic. You can actually do external drives. And then the other one is the Apple backup. So I have a external hard drive because I only have 256. So I don't know if it's a 2 gigabyte or 2 terabyte or 5 terabyte, I forget. But I do have external storage that I can use. And I also use the other one for the time capsule, the Apple backup. So how that works is I can back up my external hard drive and I can back up my laptop at the same time, as long as you configure Time Machine. I think I might have said time capsule, but Time Machine, and configure it appropriately. So when I dock, the Time Machine backup's happening and everything's just working behind the scenes. It's just a one cable. I have my external hard drive. I have my Time Machine. It does the backups, including the backing up of my SSD drive. So I don't know if that's not an SSD drive. It's a cheaper external hard drive. I do have an SSD drive, but I don't have it configured here. You can if you want, but I don't, just because I haven't bought another higher capacity one to replace my traditional desktop external hard drive. So, and then the other thing, if you guys want, I think they call it clamshell. You know, you can do a clamshell where you can shut your laptop's screen and you can just use the monitor. That works as well. And when you open it, it switches. And there's some configuration. If you have any questions, I can go through in more detail. And I also bought a piece of software I really wasn't prepared for this, but I can jet something. Jetson. Now this is I don't think you can find it from the App Store. I guess it used to be, but then they removed it. You have to buy it and install it yourself. And it was pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was like $3, $5, $7. But what it is it lets you eject your drives. So if you just unplug this, you'll get those warnings. Hey, you need to eject your drives before you unplug. With this software, you can eject all instead of having to go to each drive and eject them. Also, when it goes to sleep, it has in the software, it will eject the drives before it goes to sleep. So, if I go ahead and close this, one of the bad parts is it won't go to sleep because it goes into clamshell mode. But it's fine for me. I'll either eject them and unplug it, but often I close it, and then if I grab it later, it's already in the sleep mode and the drives are ejected, and I can unplug it at that time, and I'm good to go. No issues with the messages about the drives being um, uh, removed without being ejected. And this video is probably already a little too long, but again, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 months, and I'm really liking this monitor. It looks good. It functions about as close to OEM Apple, I think, as you can. I think it goes together very well. As far as the finish goes, now I have the space gray on my MacBook Air, and this is more of a silver, so it doesn't match exactly. Now, if you have the silver version of the MacBook Air, it might match a little bit better, but I think it looks great. I think it looks great with the desk. I picked up this mouse on Amazon, and it's an okay mouse. I think I bought it because it looks better. It does work okay, but I really like the way it looked and matched my MacBook. And I've been through a couple mice, I guess the plural for mouse, and I keep on going back to this one and returning the other ones because I don't know if I'm getting used to the feel of this mouse or not, but yeah, I can leave a link to that if you see it and think it's pretty cool. So that's it, guys. I recommend this LG monitor if you're looking for something that is a fraction of the price. There are some other options out there. I looked at them all, at least as of October, and I came down with this. This was the one and only after I went through all of the factors and the looks and the size and everything. This was it, the LG. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. And again, I'll leave some links of the monitor, and I'll put the link of the cable, though, if you're looking for a black cable. But again, this is old and they don't use it anymore. The other thing too about this cable, this Amazon Basics, I don't know if they're all like this, but this thing, it doesn't smell now, but this thing smelled like this horrible plastic smell for like a year. I had to hang this out and let it air out for like the longest time so it could gas off. So I wouldn't recommend this cable, but at least if you have to have a black cable, at least points you in somewhat of a direction, and you might have to buy some on Amazon and return them if they don't work. But it is possible. You'll read that it's not possible, and I guarantee at least one in the world does work. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this was somewhat beneficial for you, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.